let's say, draw the short end of the stick to be the first presenter. So if I do a good job, the bar is high. If I screw up, then my quality will have a small ceiling. Thank you very much, Paris, for the Minister of Finance and Strategy of the South Korean government, but also for Iowa University for hosting this prestigious event. Really happy to be here. I'm just gonna give you a little bit brief background about the African Development Bank, also about some of the challenges that we're facing in Africa in general, also some of our strategic objectives, as well as what are we looking for with regard to career opportunities and qualifications, etc. But also how can you engage with us in the future. Just a little bit of background. The African Development Bank, the Paris Agreement was signed in 1963, but it went into effect in 1964. And again, it was part of the post-colonial agenda about the development in Africa. And a few of the leaders at the time got together and thought about, okay, we gained our independence, now what? So the idea was the development in Africa by African for Africans, and that was the initial idea. However, that idea was developed further by the inclusion of non-African regional member countries, sometimes in 1972. Our headquarters is based in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. However, around 2003, the African Development Bank has moved temporarily to Tunisia because of the instability in the country of Cote d'Ivoire at the time. Since January 2004, we start moving back to Cote d'Ivoire, and now we are in the process of doing so. We are moving about 2,000 staff, families, total of 5,000 staff from Tunisia to Cote d'Ivoire. So you can imagine the massive effort that's put into this. As a result, again, it's bad news, good news. We froze the recruitment process for the African Development Bank for the year 2004. However, the good news gave us an opportunity to plan better and to look forward to 2015 and going forward with our new strategic and resourcing strategy around that. Generally, in a nutshell, the objective of the African Development Bank is the alleviation of poverty in Africa. It's a very broad concept. Again, provides us with an opportunity to get into various projects from the operation, technical, and also from the kind of philosophical side of it. Also, to ensure that at least the technical expertise that is needed for the development and the economies in African countries is provided, as well as the finance needed for the development of those projects. This is just an overview about where are we located right now. This is the beautiful city of Cote d'Ivoire, again, after a few years of instability. The headquarters is a photo in the bottom here, and is located somewhere in the concrete jungle, the photo to the left. However, temporarily right now we're hosted by the government of Cote d'Ivoire in the International Trade Center building, which is the tallest building in Cote d'Ivoire, which is the one in the dark photo here in the middle. Currently, we have about 1,000 staff already moved into that building, and we're expecting about 1,400 more right now. This is just an example of some of the development projects in Africa. And again, a lot of time when we move to Cote d'Ivoire, people will approach us and ask us, can you finance my kiosk, for example? Can you finance my grocery store? And we told them, no, actually the African Development Bank is the bank for governments. And therefore, it's larger kind of infrastructure projects. And that is the easiest way to kind of to explain it for the average, I guess, Ivorian industry. So dams, hydropower projects, agricultural projects, education, human development, you name it. Who are we? Again, it has three distinct institutions within the African Development Group. There is the African Development Bank, which is all of the African countries, currently 53 countries who are members. And then we have the Nigerian Trust Fund. After the discovery of oil in Nigeria, early 70s, Nigeria decided to allocate certain funds for development in Africa. However, they did not want to compete with the African Development Bank, and therefore they created a Nigerian Trust Fund, which is a member of the African Development Bank. The inclusion of the non-African countries happened in the early 1970s, and these are basically countries that are not based in Africa. And in Asia, we have 4 of them. We have China, India, Japan, and South Korea. We are located in about 35 different field offices. We have 2 regional offices, one in Nairobi, one in South Africa. Temporary headquarters in Tunisia, and the headquarters in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. So we cover basically most of the African countries within our region. Sorry, I'm going a little bit fast, but I'll be happy to ask any questions and give you responses in the afternoon. Some of the key challenges, and again, Africa is one of the richest continents, however, also there's a lot of other issues. Disasters, basically man-made, and also some natural disasters. And again, talking about floods, talking about drought, talking about also strife of instability, civil wars, etc. But also climate change, environmental degradation, and issues around extractives, etc. One of the biggest challenges as well is the inequality between men and women. So we're very pleased to be here at a women's university in Asia, so that's an inspiration for us as well. Also, some of the challenges we have is the shortage of skills and again, capacity. Also, the private sector is a little bit weak, so therefore engagement in development is a bit of a challenge. As well, one of the biggest issues is the issues around governance within the African context. Again, political reforms, issues around corruption, about stability, institution and governments, and so forth. So these are all of the challenges that we're facing. As a result of that, the AfDB created a new strategy, 10-year strategy, starting 2012 up to 2022. And the rest is about 5 major areas. The first one, again, we're talking about the infrastructure development is in Africa. Looking at regional integration, looking at private sector development, governance and accountability, and also skills and technology. However, there are overarching themes around that, which is around the gradual and inclusive growth, which is 2 concepts around the environmental issues that we need to address. But also there is the issue around fragile states, issues around agriculture and food security. But also another very important overarching principle is the gender aspect of it. As a matter of fact, we have a new gender strategy that's been established early this year. And the commitment is all projects, finance projects, unless they clearly outline the impact of the gender within the African content, they are not going to be approved by the board. And that's a commitment that we made. Career opportunities with AfDB. Again, just before the career opportunities, just the background. We have also a people strategy, which has a focus about leadership, performance and accountability, employee engagement and communication, and the workforce of the future. Again, the workforce of the future, again, we're not looking at age per se, but the engagement in future development and the issues about the skills development, the technology, etc., but also policies that are designed to ensure that we diversify our workforce within the context of that development. The environment is excellent. Again, a very diversified workforce, as I mentioned, international competitive package, contributing to professional development and ongoing development, of course. Reforms to improve benefits and career development and promotion. As we speak, we are looking at a new compensation framework to attract the best as well, and we're using the 5 international financial institutions as our competitors. Also, we're looking at that at reforming the labor force and restructuring and look at more decentralization in the process. So the workforce, I guess location is not going to be just Cote d'Ivoire, but again, we're looking at the 35 countries within Africa. These are just general examples of some of the jobs and some of the areas, the skills that we're looking at. again, if you look at the Office of the Chief Economist, statisticians, again, researchers, we look at the operations in different areas, procurement, fiduciary services, look at sector operation, financial reform, development, water and sanitation, institutional issues such as corporate services, HR, IT, general services. We look at language services because ADB is fully bilingual, English and French, so language is very critical for us. We're looking, of course, the finance side of it, treasury, financial control, resource mobilization, external relations. Also, we look at infrastructure and private sector operations, transport, communication, water and sanitation, regional integration, trade. So it's a very wide variety of background that we're looking for. And it's very important to keep that in mind when we're applying and when we're looking at the career opportunities with the ADB. How to get in touch with us and what are the opportunities we'll be looking at. We have 3 categories of staff. Again, we look at the international professionals, we have local professionals, and general support staff. The international professionals, again, we're looking at international staff from all of the 78 member countries. Minimum criteria, we're looking at master's degree at a minimum for inclusion, for applying to the ADB. We have also a young professional program which it could be very suitable for some of you here in the room. And the young professional program requires a master's degree, about 3 years of experience, and then there is an age limit of 32. It's a very competitive program. Last time we had an intake, we had about 8,000 applications, and we take only 20 staff, young professionals. So if you apply and you did not get it, don't feel bad because it's a very tough competition. Also, we have secondment, technical advisors and technical assistants from government and also project staff we hire in the international market. Also, we recruit consultants, different degrees and different expertise of backgrounds, senior consultants, more than 10 years, and junior consultants, about 5 years or so. As well, we provide internship programs, and again, we take about between 60 interns every year. However, we have an agreement with the government of South Korea. There is a special Korean internship program, and we're very proud that that has been going very successfully. And actually, part of my mission here, I'm going to interview a few of the candidates for the Korean internship program. Good luck on that process. General statistics, currently there are about 9 Koreans working for the bank, again from a complement of over 2,000 staff. The rest of the complement of the people working for the ADB are consultants, as well as what we call them short-term staff engagements. We recruit this locally, as well as some of the kind of service providers. But generally speaking, it's about 2,000 staff. As I mentioned, in order to join the ADB, you have to be a member, your country has to be a member of the African Development Bank. As I mentioned, South Korea is a member of the African Development Bank, and therefore you'll be very welcome to apply. Minimum master's degree, as I mentioned. And we have, again, headquartered in Cote d'Ivoire, but also in the field offices. We have certified field offices throughout Africa, and 2 regional centers, currently in Nairobi and 1 in South Africa. The website link provides you with more information, but I will be available this afternoon. I understand there is a question and answer session, and to give you more in-depth information for whatever you need. Thank you. Thank you very much.